Beloved of God, you are welcome to this week's session of our intellectual and faith journey. Our focus of today will be on images and statues versus idol worship. This topic of today is inspired by a Bible passage found in Exodus chapter 20, where God says, "Worship no God beside me. Do not make for yourselves images of anything in heaven or on earth or in the water under the earth. Do not bow down to any idol or worship it, because I am the Lord your God, and I tolerate no rival." This Bible verse appears to be very contradictory to many other passages within the same book. There are many other passages in which God commands the making of images, but I will choose just two. The first is found in Exodus 25, in which God commands Moses to make the covenant box with images of two angels on the lid facing each other. These are the two winged creatures God commanded Moses to make. The next passage is found in Numbers chapter 21, verse 4 to 9, where God commands Moses to make a bronze snake and put on a stick, so that any Israelite bitten by a snake would be healed by looking up to the bronze snake. Instead of just healing everybody, God commanded Moses to make a bronze snake so that everyone who looked up at this snake would be healed. These seeming contradictions have caused a very big divide within Christendom. Now that all these verses are commanded by God, we ask ourselves, what does God expect us to do? Is He a God of confusion? Let us remember that one of the qualities of God is that He is omniscient. He is an omniscient God, which means that He is all-knowing. He knows everything that has been, everything that is, and everything that will ever be. Now, if we choose one of these verses, for instance, the one that says we should not make images, and we throw away the others, it means that we are telling God He is not intelligent enough to know that there is a contradiction. We are simply abusing His all-knowing power, and we are dictating to Him what is right to do and what is wrong to not do. And so, to avoid ourselves from teaching God, let's go back to the context and know why God said what He said in Exodus chapter 20, do not make images. Let's take note that the name Exodus is coined based on an event, the event of the Israelites' departure from Egypt. Before they left Egypt, they had been there for about 400 years. The religious atmosphere of Egypt was characterized by a plurality of gods. They worshipped many different gods like the sun god, the moon god, fertility god, and even every family had a god called household gods. Different types of gods, numerous gods assigned for everything. So, for this exceptionally long length of time that the Israelites were in Egypt, they had become more like the Egyptians in worshipping many gods. They had never been used to worshipping just one god, and many of them who left Egypt carried their household gods along and crossed the Red Sea. That is why, just after crossing the Red Sea, God prohibited the making of images and the use of images, because they considered these images as gods. So this command of God was meant to remove from their minds the idea of worshipping many gods and bring them to the practice of worshipping just one God. At this time, the people were not used to this new God. They were very afraid of Him, and that is why Moses kept encouraging them, advising them, and teaching them. When Moses went up to the mountain to get the 10 commandments from God and made the mistake of delaying up there, the people immediately asked Aaron to make a golden calf for them to be worshipping as their God, for that is what they were comfortable with. Moreover, God wanted images to be used only in the context of worshipping Him who is the Almighty God. For this reason, He gave the 10 commandments and commanded Moses to make the covenant box, which signifies God's presence among His people, and asked Moses to make images of 2 angels, each facing each other on the lid of the covenant box with their wings spread forward. Furthermore, in the book of Numbers chapter 21, God desired that He will heal His people from snake bites, not directly, but through the image of a snake. This means that God uses images set apart for His worship to heal, to bless, to protect His people. So when images are made, blessed, and set apart for people to use as a means to contemplate God and for God to use as a means to bless His people, it is in line with the divine plan, not a contradiction. Because God wanted them to act as channels of His grace. We call them sacred images because they are not just objects among other objects, but things set apart for the sanctification of the people and for the greater honor and glory of God. Examples of images are the cross. It is not the cross of Jesus Christ that we have today, but an image of that cross. So we respect it because of what it represents. We also have images or statues of Jesus, of Mary, and of the saints. The saints are those men and women who lived an exemplary Christian life and have kept the faith for us to imitate, as St. Paul tells us in 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 1, "Imitate me as I imitate Christ." Respect and veneration are given to different people based on their ranks, and the Catholic Church defines 3 levels of respect. The first is dulia. This is honor or respect or veneration given to holy men and women, that is, the saints. The next level is hyperdulia. This kind of respect is given only to the Blessed Virgin Mary because of her special status in the history of salvation. Compare Revelation chapter 12. And the last level of respect is latria. This is honor given only to God and no one else. It is under this level of respect that the word worship applies. So, as a summary of our topic of today, we say that Exodus chapter 20 warned against the making of images and idol worship. Yet, God later commanded Moses to create images of angels on the covenant box and a bronze snake for healing. We highlighted that God's command against images was aimed at shifting the Israelites from polytheism and bringing them to monotheism after their prolonged exposure to Egyptian idols. Also, we said that sacred images set apart for divine worship serve as a channel of God's grace, allowing believers to contemplate the divine and seek His blessings. Meanwhile, giving respect to images of Jesus, Mary, and the saints also serve as a model of faith. Thank you so much for joining me in this session of today. Please share with your friends and family so that we continue to grow in this journey. Thank you and God bless you.